really be able to give yourself the freedom to feel everything that you feel as you're going through these various processes. Because the more you can allow yourself to feel, and the more you can allow your partner to feel, the more you can create a space in which those feelings become part of the partnership rather than that which keeps you apart. Right? The more you can feel everything that you feel and allow your partner to feel everything they feel, the more you can create a space in which those emotions become part of the partnership rather than that which keeps you apart. So that's the first part of unconscious, moving to conscious. Okay, the second part is moving from implicit to explicit. And one way I like to describe relationships is that when two people get together, they each come in with a rule book of how people should be related, how you should treat me, how I should treat you. And each person, they kind of come onto a ship, they come onto the relationship, and they bring their rule book, right? And the rule book is conscious or unconscious. It's unconscious. So they come in with the rule book, and let's say it's John and Mary. Right? And John comes in, and he has a rule that says, well, there are certain voice tones you just really shouldn't use with someone that you care about because it's disrespectful and it's mean, it's just really not appropriate. And actually, if you really care about someone, you should check in with them on a regular basis. Every few days you should keep up with them. You should tell them the details of your life, and they should tell you the details of theirs. Right? So that's John's rule. Mary, on the other hand, comes onto the relationship with her set of rules. And her set of rules say, passion and emotions are important in relationship. And if I'm feeling a certain emotion, I should be able to express it through my voice tone. Because that's honest and it's real. And it's having that real communication that is what relationship is all about. And look, I don't understand these people who feel like they always need to be talking to each other. It's so needy. Why do we have to? When we see each other and everything we do. So, John and Mary come into the relationship, and Mary uses a particular voice tone and doesn't call. Okay? How does John feel about Mary? Right? She's wrong and bad. She's not being a good partner. She's breaking my rules, which, because they're unconscious, they're not my rules, they're just the rules. Right? Now, how does Mary feel about her behavior? Right? She's fine with it. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to do. She's being a good partner. Okay? So John says, don't use that tone of voice with me. That's really disrespectful. And why don't you call? Right? Because our rules are unconscious and implicit, when someone breaks them, we don't experience them as breaking our rules. We experience them as breaking the rules. Yes. And therefore, they know that they're breaking the rules because it's obvious. It's just common sense. It's just common decency. Right? Has anyone ever heard this, by the way? Exactly. Getting some nods of recognition, I think. So because the rules are unconscious, when someone breaks them, we don't understand it as an honest mistake. We tend to understand it as uncaring, unthoughtful, and intentionally violating our boundaries. We are the victim of the other person's lack of caring. Right? We are the victim. And when we're the victim, we can then, with all good things, become self-righteous about how they're wrong. Right? Victim, I call this the victim self-righteousness dynamic. Right? Whenever you have victimhood, you'll create self-righteousness. And wherever there's self-righteousness, someone, somewhere, thinks there's a victim. Right? These two things go together. So, Mary, when I hear Mary's voice tone, John feels violated, and he feels the victim of Mary. So when he says, Look, you shouldn't use that voice tone with me. And why don't you call? He accuses Mary from a self-righteous perspective. So, now Mary hears John's complaint. And what does Mary do? Of course, she says, oh, I bet you have different rules than me. Let's find out. Of course not, right? Right? There's a basic rule that pretty much everybody has, which is this. If someone is self-righteous with me about something I didn't think I did wrong, I'm a victim of their self-righteousness. Anybody? Yeah, right? So Mary says, oh my gosh, how dare you speak to me that way? And why do you need to be so needy? Oh, right? Well, but John, you're being self-righteous with me, and it escalates. Right? Now, the interesting thing about this victim self-righteousness dynamic is that it feeds on itself. Typically, after 1 or 2 rounds, the initial problem is gone. Right now, it's just about how dare you talk to me that way, right? And these become the systemic challenges in relationship. And it's these systemic challenges that are difficult and require a lot of consciousness to resolve. The actual boundary issues you can tend to figure out.